create the event, get it started. When we show our mettle, we organize, disrupt business as usual, and we come out the gate strong on a work day. Yeah, that's right. May 1st is a work day to demonstrate just a fraction of what's possible. When we shut shit down, we know another world is possible, and we want to help everyone imagine that. Because instead of only talking about preserving a constitution that was already imperfect and eroding before our eyes, we want to imagine a better union with social economic rights, in addition to free speech and voting rights that are actually respected and ensured. We don't want unlawful search and seizure, but we also want a right to housing, a right to Medicare for all, not just Medicaid for some. Because if the 1% got its way, it'd be none for nobody except them. And we can imagine a world that's different, that has college for all, not just Pell Grants for some or for the rich only who get the access. We can demand automatic card check and neutrality instead of executive orders that have diminished the few union rights we still possess. So let's get rid of the democratic nature of the system. Let's fight the attacks to eliminate the rights we already have. And we have a good opportunity on May 1st to defend the most vulnerable, demand the greatest good for the greatest many, and not stand silently in lieu of these attacks on our union brother, who's a sheet metal worker, Kilmar Armando Obrego Garcia. It's also an attack on our immigrant sisters and brothers. We're all workers, and we're not going to let the billionaire bosses divide us. So please stay on for this whole call. We're going to get you out of here very efficiently and give you the message you need and the hope you deserve to keep fighting. But there is a few housekeeping items before we continue. First, you should become a partner, right? So if you see this, there is a May Day partner form. I think we're going to put that into the chat so that you can sign up as a partner organization if you have not already. You can see those. There's a scroll on the bottom of the website, maydaystrong.org, where you can do that. Email, if you prefer that route, to registering an event instead of doing it on the website, though the website is super easy. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. And then we've got a toolkit. This toolkit will help you do your own press release. We'll give you different kinds of social media posts. We'll show you how to, organize in your city, town, or village. So check out all of these things. There are also a number of Know Your Rights trainings. This is if you need to be a marshal, if you need to make sure everybody is safe and secure, if you want to know your constitutional rights while marching, in case there's any issues that might arise. These are the 2 events you should consider attending. We will also record them and send them out, so no worries if you are unavailable at those times. Again, please introduce yourself. You can put your name, your city, what you're excited about for coming May Day. And lastly, if you're having trouble with posting your event online, if there's duplicate events and we need to consolidate, if there's something that's not quite right in the description and we need to make it accurate, definitely email support@maydaystrong.org. It's great to see all these incredible freedom fighters from all over the country. So with that, we are going to go ahead and begin to hear from our guests tonight. If you do have questions about events in your area or support that you might need, please ask questions in the chat tonight. We've got Jesse Sharkey, who's the CTU's May Day coordinator, on this call tonight. We've got our head of organizing. We've got a ton of other allies and organizers on the call to help you answer your questions. So to start us off, we could think of no better person than Ashley Henderson, one of my good friends, activist, and movement strategist. Ashley, you really don't need an introduction, so I'm going to just hand you the mic.
Y'all, can we give it up one time for the incredible team at the Chicago Teachers Union, particularly our fearless leader, Jackson Potter, tonight. Just show some love for their forethought, for their leadership, for their willingness to make sacrifices to bring us all together into this sacred space. CTU, we love y'all. Hey friends, y'all know I'm Ashley Woodard Henderson, and I have already talked to so many of you about how hyped I am about the Mayday Strong actions, but I just want to keep it super simple tonight. Y'all, I know that many of us waited with bated breath to see what new disasters the Trump administration would make for us this week. And I know that many of us have felt like we've been on 10 since before November 5th, right? So I know that some of you have already been in the streets. I know that many of you have been calling your legislatures. I know that many of you have been organizing and base building, and yet there is still work to be done. But as exhausting as that might feel for some of you, I'm coming to this call with great optimism that May 1st will be yet another opportunity for us to tell the landlords and the billionaire bros, the broligarchy, as sometimes we call them. It'll be another opportunity for us to tell the bosses that enough is enough. That actually who we are and who we are becoming is centralized around our desire to support and love and build healthy, sustainable, and equitable communities for working families. So if that's what you're trying to do, I think I am in the right place. Though I hear that I'm still looking for my Rhode Island neighbors to nail this down. So I want to do a couple of things before I toss it back to Jackson. One, I want to see if anybody on the call tonight has a friend, a cousin, a comrade, a colleague that is based in Rhode Island, or if you currently live in Rhode Island and you are on this call, I want you to say, "What's up, Ash?" in the chat. If you got somebody that you know is in Rhode Island or you are in Rhode Island, I want you to say, "What's up, Ash?" in the chat. I see you, Rhode Island. Okay, all right. I see some folks. We got Rhode Island in the building. So, Rhode Island, this is what I need you to do. And for all of you actually that might not yet know if there's an action in a place where you are, I want you to go to maydaystrong.org. And at the very top of that website, you'll see three buttons. One says join an event, one says host an event, and one says press. So if you are the press and you somehow got on this call to be nosy about what movement is up to, welcome. Your whole button is right there up at the top. But if you are an activist, an organizer, a person of goodwill who's just trying to do the right thing in this season, if you want to join an event, I need you to click that button that says join an event. For all of you in the Q&A that have asked if there's an event near you, this is how you find out the answer to this question yourself. So you can go there. And if there is not an event near you, I get it. I've been that person who was upset about something. Something was keeping me up at night, and I had to figure out what my next step was to change the problem into a solution. It can be overwhelming, but we don't want you to feel like you're out here by yourself. You can go to maydaystrong.org and get a toolkit that gives you a step-by-step play for how you can involve yourself in being the leader, full person that you are in this movement that we are building together at the intersection of all of our identities, at the intersection of all of the issues that we're facing that are impacting the people who are suffering the most. You can step up right now and decide that you're going to host an event. And if we're at 600 tonight, right now, as we start, we should at least be at 650 by the end of this hour, don't you think? I think we could do it. I think we could do it. I think there's plenty of you who are like, yo, there's not an action near me yet. Maybe I can do a teach-in. Maybe I can do a protest. Maybe I can step up and bring my community together, my neighbors together to talk about how we can actually move from where we are to where we ought to be. I feel confident that there will be millions of us in the streets on May 1st. And I feel confident that the impact that that has over this year, over the next 2 years, over the next 4 years of this administration will be lives saved, lives transformed, community built, because you all made a decision not only to get on this call tonight, but to do something with the information that you're given on this call tonight, to do something with that optimism, to do something with that righteous rage, that grief that you might be feeling because people are suffering under this administration, because workers are being targeted, because students are being targeted, because immigrants are being targeted. This is our moment to put up or shut up around who this place is going to be, what our communities are going to be like. Now is the time for us to demand what we deserve and to build it, not just what we would concede to, friends. This is the moment where we can actually win it all. If people like you, people of goodwill, step up to do the work to build this world that we deserve, to be the beloved community that pushes the moral arc of the universe towards justice. So I need you to go to maydaystrong.org, and I need you to sign up to either join an event or to host one. I need you to check out all of the incredible information that is on the website that allows for you to support, either supporting the May Day event. You can register your own, you can join one, you can host one. If you're already with an organization, a community organization, you can sign up to partner. You can sign the Solidarity Pledge that's led and supported by national immigrants' rights groups and civil rights organizations all over the country. And if you are with the press or you want to inform the press, there's a form for that too. All of that is on maydaystrong.org. So my prayer is that this call leaves you feeling more and able to do the good work that is required of us on May Day. And even more that you feel a part of a movement that will do the work that we have to do on May Day and beyond it. I can't wait to see y'all in the streets. Jackson, I'll toss it back to you.
I mean, I think you just made history, Ash. I think you got us 50 states just like that, and probably 700 cities just like that. And I might go so far as to say this could be the greatest turnout for May Day in the most places we've seen, maybe ever. So from Chicago to you all, from 1886 to 2025, I like our resistance and how it's shaping up. And in order to kind of tell us what more we need to do at this critical moment, I want to bring up my sister, Congresswoman Delia Ramirez. And Congresswoman Delia Ramirez helped us get an elected school board in Chicago for the first time in our history. So I know she's ready to throw down for May 1st. Congresswoman?
Jackson, thank you so much for inviting me today and for the opportunity to be able to be in space with the movers and shakers, and frankly, the leaders that we have been waiting for. I know that a lot of us have been asking the questions: who is leading? What does leadership look like in this moment? Why is Congress? Why are members of Congress who say that they stand with working families not doing more? But the reality, folks, you are the leaders that will agitate and mobilize and create the conditions necessary to transform this nation, not just to get us to November of 2026, but to literally transform the way that we talk about community, the way that we stand with working families, and the way that we are in solidarity with each other. I'm so grateful to be with you tonight because as I'm getting ready to go back to Washington, D.C. on Monday, I am very clear. The members of Congress, we have a role to play, and you need to agitate us to do more. But truly, what's going to keep us together and transform into resistance that actually creates the conditions for working families, not just to survive, but to thrive, is what you are doing in every single state. Folks, Congress should not be operating as business as usual. We shouldn't be passing bills of suspension or changing a post office name. We should be protecting the post office more than worried about a name change. But the reality is that we have had mediocre leadership in every level of government. And you are saying that on May Day, it changes. You're organizing in every single state, saying enough. Enough about blaming immigrants for lack of health care, blaming immigrants for lack of resources in public education, blaming immigrants for lack of jobs. You and I both know that it's the billionaires' fault. It's those corporations. It's those greedy bosses. It's the greedy insurance company, the greedy pharma. They are the reason we are where we are. And the only way you change these circumstances is doing the organizing, the agitating necessary. Folks, colleagues of mine should not be able to go to church or to go to the neighborhood gas station if they pump their own gas, because I work with a lot of billionaires. They should not be able to without seeing community asking them, what the hell are you doing my Social Security? What the hell are you doing to protect my Medicaid? Why the hell are you not standing up to protect public education in this country? You are the resistance that we need for this moment. And let me tell you, it is overwhelming to see and fear what EO is coming today, what EO is coming on Friday at 5 p.m. Because cowards like Donald Trump will use moments where they think people are not watching to hit us and attack us. But we are going to hit back. And we're going to hit back by organizing in every single state. Mobilize, train ourselves, and recognize that this is what we need. We need to legislate, we need to litigate, and we need to agitate. And we agitate by mobilizing together. Friends, I am disgusted by the pitting against Black, brown, poor, working class. It's going to take us to not defend a narrative, but shape the narrative and the vision of the world that we deserve to live into. I don't want to think about, our project 2026 is winning an election in November. That is not what actually feeds people. That's not what actually creates thriving communities. It's creating an agenda where people have quality healthcare. It's creating an agenda where we have high quality public education and we prioritize our children. It's creating an agenda where people don't have to worry about working until they're 75 years old. Or a mother like mine who gives me a basket full of invoices from the insurance company that I'm paying for because she got denied Medicaid just a few months ago, and they're denying healthcare, treatment, and medication for her. Enough is enough. And so on May Day, we're going to march, but we're going to continue to organize every single day until our vision of this country becomes the reality for all of us. So thank you for the ways that you are organizing. And while yes, fear is contagious, so is courage. And we have the courage to lead for such a time as this. I am clear who sent me to Congress. It was you. And I'm going to continue to work with you in the things I got to do from the inside, but I need you to do the work that you're doing from the outside, because it's your mobilization that will get us through this moment and get us to a place where all of us can have the quality of life that we deserve. Not those greedy ass, terrible, evil billionaires. So gracias. Let's organize. We know that when we fight, we fucking win. Thank you.
Man, that's a clarion call if I've ever heard one. Thank you, Congresswoman. That was just fire. Give her some love in the chat. I do want to bring up somebody else who I know is bringing the fire and bringing the boom, none other than Minneapolis Federation of Teachers President Marsha Howard. Marsha, tell us what we got to hear. I have heard Minneapolis, you all have like 10 events on May 1st from start to finish.
Come on now. Come on now. I'm fired up now, Congresswoman Ramirez. You said it like it needed to be said. Y'all need to know my name is Marsha Howard. I'm the president of the teacher chapter of Minneapolis Federation of Teachers, but I'm also a resident of South Minneapolis. I live 263 steps from what we call George Floyd Square. It's the longest running autonomous zone in American history. We have stood outside for justice, the 24 demands of Justice Resolution 001. We say no justice, no street. And let me tell you, the house that I'm sitting in right now is the house of the Secretary of the Minnesota Regional Labor Federation from the general strike of 1934. I mention that because as I sit here, I'm thinking about what we're going to need on May 1st and that week of action. We're going to need y'all to be brave. We're going to need y'all to be brave. We're going to need y'all to walk with big feet. As we start flexing these muscles, I need y'all to understand, we might not have Pinkertons beating our asses like they did during the general strikes, like they did over when they were in the coal miners. But as we are laborers, understand, if it goes the way it's supposed to go, people will get activated and agitated and motivated. And they're going to join us out there. And these crowds are going to start building. And y'all know that the powers that be ain't going to like that. And so what we need you to do is to start this and be brave. Walk with big feet. At the People's Way at George Floyd Square, it does say where there's people, there's power. They ain't going to arrest us all. So we need to be more and more and more. Minnesota has this curious habit of in Minneapolis joining together. We never roll by ourselves. If teachers come out, carpenters come out. If carpenters come out, electricians come out. We always join each other. So when we do our week of action, much like last year when we did that week of action, it was a solidarity effort. SEIU was out there. AFSCME was out there. We typically join each other. So you're going to see, if you were to go to maydaystrongmn.org, you're going to see our entire week of events. Yes, there will be legislation. There are going to be unions. There's going to be community orgs. But what you're going to see is the people joining us in joy, but also quite a bit of that right there. Because someone wise once said, a protest ain't a protest unless you fucking up somebody's day. People need to know why we are out there. We need to be clear in our messaging that we are not allowing the powers to be to completely wreck everything that we built. And we ain't saying nothing was perfect, but we are not giving up this easily. And so what we're asking y'all to do is sweep the corner of your room right now, wherever you are, join with the people around you, get with other unions, get with other community orgs, and build something right there. Come on out. Please come out there. In Minnesota, Minneapolis, if you from rep your set, if you're from Minneapolis, say something right now. Put that in the chat. Anybody from Minneapolis? You know how we do. Exactly, exactly. You know how we do. When we show up, we say we say it's a sea of blue and it's a sea of green and it's a sea of orange from all the other unions that join us. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we see a sea of purple. That is what we do. And what you will understand is that we're all connected because they are attacking all of us. We see the attacks on public education, just like we see the attacks on veterans. We see the attacks on federal workers. And when we fight, we win. Yeah, I'm seeing it right there. I'm liking how hype y'all getting, and you're going to need that to sustain you because, to be frank, this is just the beginning. They are looking, and when I say they, it's this amorphous they. They are waiting to see whether or not we're going to respond in such a way. It's like if you've ever seen Jurassic Park, the velociraptors at the electrified fence. They just keep trying and trying and trying and see if it's going to agitate us just enough, or are we going to just sit back and take it? And what we are saying on May 1st, we ain't waiting for 2028. We ain't waiting for 2026. We starting now. It's enough. Enough is enough. And so, if a protest ain't a protest unless you fucking up somebody's day, they fucked up and they finna find out. That's what we're doing on May 1st. So y'all can go to maydaystrongmn.org for us or maydaystrong.org and then just sweep the corner of your world. I'm going to be at George Floyd Square. I'm going to be at the Capitol. That's Minneapolis Federation of Teachers. That's the carpenters. That's the other unions. Everybody's going to be with us. I'm telling y'all right now, this is the beginning of something that's so big. It feels as if time was running out, and now we are giving us enough space and enough grace for us to decide what our future is going to look like. We're going to build the world beyond the world that we living in right now. This has been the most hopeful I've felt since I got outside 5 years ago. I'm starting to really believe in us again. And I mean all of us by this. It's been a long 5 years and it's been a long 3 months, but I'm starting to believe in us. And y'all made me a believer. And I thank you for it. Thank y'all, CTU, especially Jackson Potter. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you. I'm going to throw it back to you.
Bringing tears to my eyes, Marsha. That's powerful. You can tell we got working class power on this call. We got some spicy language. That's how we talk in the labor movement, right? In the workers' rights movement, in the immigrant rights movement, because we got to move people. And this next speaker is going to do that too. I just want to give some context. When Marsha is saying things aren't normal, when Congresswoman Delia Ramirez is saying things aren't normal, just for those of you who remember, Reagan locked out 11,000 air traffic controllers in 1981. Trump has done 100 times that to federal workers. He's eliminated a million federal union protections for workers. And he's going after the postal workers next. And there's more than 500,000 postal workers. And I have the pleasure and honor to introduce Elise Foster. who is president of the National Association of Letter Carriers Branch 11. We had the pleasure of standing together today in Chicago at Haymarket Square for a presser advancing our May Day March on May 1st. Elise, welcome.
Yes, thanks for having me, man. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. I mean, I'm losing connection here. I've been fighting to get on here. Look, Jackson, thank you for inviting me. I mean, it's so much I want to say, and I feel that this is the forum where I can do it. As Jackson said, my name is Elise Foster, and I'm a letter carrier first. And I'm the president of the National Association of Letter Carriers right here in Chicago, Branch 11, the largest local here in Illinois. And we are pissed off. So I got my chant, I don't know, I know everybody's on mute, but when I say hell, you say no, hell, hell,
No.
hell, and that's it. Hell no, we're fighting like hell, as my t-shirt says, to save the United States Postal Service. How dare you come at the 290,000 letter carriers that deliver and move the mail for this country? We have been sitting out here fighting for survival, fighting for the safety of our letter carriers. And like, we are the oldest federal government institute here. We was here before this country was born, and we want to continue to stay here. I have been advocating for the safety of letter carriers. I lost a sister here in Chicago who was gunned down on her route in the performance of her duties. And I've been advocating for safety to say enough is enough. Now we're fighting for our just basic survival, to be out there to do what we do every day, to go out there and deliver mail to our customers and the communities that we serve. I know attack on one is attack on all. An injury to one is an injury to all. And one is one too many. So we know when they started with the federal workers, they was coming to for us, because he said that when he was in office before, that they was trying to privatize the Postal Service. They are trying to privatize the American public service. This is a service that we provide, and it's affordable. Now, if the privatization get in there, it's going to be raising the rates, no unions, no decent pay, no 8-hour day, no benefits, safety, working conditions. All of that's on stake right now. And we have come too far to go back. We had the men and women that go on a wildcat strike in 1970 to walk off their jobs and say, hey, we tired of begging. We're tired of working a full-time job, and we qualify for welfare. Women wasn't allowed to come in until the early 60s, and that wasn't until the men went off to war. But we saying we didn't came through all this to say, hey, you're not just going to sit here and just take the Postal Service away from us. We're going to fight, and we're ready to fight. Our customers love us. I mean, hey, we deliver mail each and every day. We deliver medicine. All the things that our customers need, they rely on the letter carriers to do it. We go everywhere, every day in this country. You build it, we're there. We're in the United States Constitution to stop them to trying to do what they're doing now, to keep on to say they want to privatize the Postal Service. We shouldn't have to keep going through this. This is a public service. It is the American people's post office. It's our post office, okay? So we're fighting like hell. I'm standing here with my members, 5,000 strong in Chicago, and I know everybody else around this country is fired up. The sister from Minnesota, look, I was there at George Square, on that square, and it moved me. And it just, as you were speaking, and because I was there, and I understand the power of all of us coming together, sticking together, because you can't mess with them and then mess with us. We all got to come together and show them, agitate, as they were saying. So I've been out here advocating all day long. I was in the rain this morning. It was a little late. But like I said, I told Jackson, he said, can you come on? I said, I will be here because I'm going to be the voice of the letter carriers. We're out there each and every day. Our customers love us. We are some of the only people that a customer will see. We save lives out there. We could come through the neighborhood and see the mail is piling up in our customer's house, and we say, hey, this ain't right. And we knocking on the door. We're alerting our law enforcement to get out there to see what's going on. Something's not, and do a well-being check. Something is not right here. And we save the lives of our customers. The second Saturday in May, we're out here advocating for food drive. For our customers we pick up the food. Second Saturday in May, all across this country, we'll be out there picking up food to put food back in the pantries, so that the community that we serve, if they desire to go to a food pantry and they need it, with all the cuts and things going on, we want to make sure those pantries are full with food, and that is come from the letter carriers. And this is what we do. We just not your letter carriers. We are part of your families, and we out there. And how dare they touch the United States Postal Service? That's going to take 640,000 jobs. Everybody that's linked to the United States Postal Service, you got your mailers, you got your truck drivers, you got your clerks, you got your pre-sorters, you got your print houses. All of this will be affected because they want to get their hands on money, corporate greed. And we say, no, hell no, enough is enough. You all get out there, call Congress. Congress has to act. These Congress people got to stop being scared. The people, the American people put you there for a reason to stand up and fight. You cannot be scared. My members get up each and every day to go to work, and they fear for their safety, and they don't know if they're going to go back home to their families. So the congressman, I don't want to hear that you're scared. You got to stand up for what the American people put you in office to do. Just like I do each and every day when I come to work as the president's organization, I have to make some tough decisions, come to work and do my job and do what the people put me here to do. And if I'm scared, you need to step down so we can get somebody else in office. So everybody across this country, please stand up. Help the letter carriers. If you can make a call your Congress people, tell them to save the United States Postal Service because it is needed. And one last thing before I go. We was out there in COVID. They told us we couldn't take off work. We had to literally beg to get the day off to work due to COVID. They expect us to come to work. We was immune to COVID. And just think we was dealing with anthrax, the powder substance. We had to come to work with that. They just gave us some gloves to go do your job. So we're here. We deliver those supplies that you all need. When you was inside, staying inside to be safe, letter carriers was out there on the front line. We was out there. We was essential workers, classified as that, and we was out there. And we deserve everything that we have coming to us. We didn't get hazardous pay, but my members got up there each and every day and went to work. And some of their family members was dealing with COVID. But they got up and we had to do what we had to do to provide to the American public. Face masks. We had to get them PP equipment. So we was delivering hand sanitizers, COVID tests, whatever it was to keep the American public safe, we did it. And we did it, and we didn't even think twice because it was our job, and we should be treated as such. And we need everybody across this country to say, please stand up for letter carriers. The Postal Service, save the Postal Service, save your Postal Service, because it is a viable entity in the communities that we serve, and everybody deserves first-class service in this country. And I'm going to continue to fight like hell. I need you to fight like hell. We're going to fight with everybody. And when I say hell, you say no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Thank you. Thank you, Jackson.
All right. Hell no. Thank you. And we, hit 2,400 people on this call already.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah.
You're saying that to a large crowd of freedom fighters who want to march side by side on May 1st with you and the other letter carriers. And to tell us what's going on in New York, we've heard from Chicago. We like to call ourselves the local ones, but we got to hear from the second city. Hey, Lynn, can you tell us, you're with Communication Workers of America, you're with Make the Road. Tell us what's going on in New York.
All right. Hello, movement family. Wow, I'm so fired up. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, my name is Helen. I'm with CWA, the Communications Workers of America, and it's so good to be with all of you tonight. And I'm excited to let you know what we're planning for May Day in New York City. Anyone from New York City in the house? Let me see some New York City in the chat. So there's obviously so many things that are special about May Day, right? The long and powerful history from the fight for the 8-hour workday in 1886, the fact that it's International Day of Workers' Rights that's being celebrated all around the world, and it's also a day to lift up the fight for immigrant rights. It's not only a day of fight and protest, but it's also a celebration of worker power. And, let's face it, we need all of that. We need the fight and celebration.
Hey,
so in New York City...
Please. Of course. Thank you so much for...
in New York City, we've built a really large, beautiful tent of over 100 organizations. Probably every possible group that you can imagine in New York City is involved. And we're coming off of the heels of the huge April 5th hands-off marches and many others. And this coalition is now fired up and ready to go for May Day. CWA and many other organizations on this call probably tonight were part of organizing those historic protests. And let me tell you, it was so beautiful to see that people are hungry and committed to take to the streets and on April 5th to say hands off. And, the April 5th march just came like days after the Trump administration slashed collective bargaining rights for over 1 million federal workers overnight with the stroke of a pen. So chaotic and so cruel. And so a big focus for that day, among many other focuses, was hands off our unions. So in March in New York City, we had about 10,000 people in the streets to stop the cuts. For April 5th, we expected 20,000. We hoped for maybe 50,000 as things started to pick up. And we had over 120,000 people on the streets. And obviously, we saw that all across the country, right? I think that shows us that people want to fight back. People want to be together. And everybody understands that our fights are connected. So in March, we said, stop the cuts. There's so many cuts. Everybody can find some sort of cuts that they're upset about. In April, we said, hands off. Many, many things. I'm not going to list them all. And in May, we're saying we are the many. Our fights are all connected, and we have more power than the few. So for May Day in New York City, we're planning a brief rally at Federal Plaza, and then we're marching down Broadway to Battery Park. And if you know New York City, Federal Plaza is where a lot of federal workers work. And when you march down on Broadway, you pass Wall Street, you pass Trump Tower, you pass the Wall Street Bowl. And from Battery Park, you can see the Statue of Liberty. So we're literally connecting the fight of the federal workers with the fight against our enemies, making it clear who we're up against, and the fight for immigrant rights. So there's a lot of symbolism here. And we'll also make sure that the immigrant rights groups are surrounded by labor groups and many other organizations, literally forming a protective barrier, connecting all these dots. So that's one of the things that I'm most excited about for May Day, probably, is the connection of our fights. Right? In the movement, sometimes we can get a little siloed, in our little corners. But, our jobs, the fight for our jobs, the fight for our rights, immigrant rights, our voice, our free speech rights, our due process rights, these are all connected. And together we have so much more power than we know. So it goes without saying, the billionaire class obviously wants us to be connected, right? Divided. They want us to be disconnected. They all want to pit us against each other. But as if we heard, in labor, we say an injury to one is an injury to all. And all has to mean all of us. So we're standing up to the billionaire agenda to fight for the world we want. So yes, these are dark times, but the history of movements really show us that in countries that slipped into authoritarianism, and I think it's time, that we use this big word, a united movement of the people was the force that beat back those fucking dictators. I know we can do it. So on this May Day, we're hoping not only to march to commemorate our history, we fucking make history. So is everybody with me? Drop some fire in the chat if you're fired up. Thank you all so much.
Now, it wouldn't be a pro-worker webinar for May Day if we didn't drop a few F-bombs. Thank you, Halen. I am going to introduce our last speaker before Sakit Bhatti closes us out tonight. But we do know it's not just northern cities. We have 600 cities already nearly represented. And so, Raquel, I know you're here with Arizona Action, with the Organized Power in Numbers, but your group is also leading a number of Southwest efforts to organize. Please tell us what's going on in your region. What are you all doing to fight back right now?
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. I am so excited. I'm getting chills as I'm listening to how many people are on the call this evening. Shout out to all my Arizona folks that are listening. And you all, first, thank you. Thank you so much for showing up, for rising in this moment of uncertainty, especially because many people are not feeling safe. They are feeling that they need to lay low. So when we show up in numbers, it really helps our communities to feel better, to give them peace. We often say, don't alarm, but let's prepare. And honestly, this May Day 2025 has to be big. It has to be strong. It has to be powerful because we've got so much at stake and too much to fight for. And I'm speaking to you here, yes, from Arizona, as a state that knows something about resistance. We're not far removed from SB 1070. SB 1070, the Show Me Your Papers law, was in 2010. We remember the raids. We remember the fear. We remember the laws that tried to erase us. And still, we rose up because we organized and we said, sí se puede. And we meant it. From the streets to the Capitol, from youth-led walkouts to electing progressive champions, we've showed up what's possible when we believe in our power to fight together. And I know that we are here at it again, and now at a national level, where we're seeing these billionaires, these extremists, that they're trying to take us back, trying to silence workers, trying to jail immigrants, ban books, roll back every single right our community has fought for so hard. So they want to divide us, they want to discourage us, and they want to distract us. It's been said already. But they don't understand what happens when we organize and when we come together. We've already proven what happens when we are underestimated. Again, we rise, and we rise with that sí se puede spirit. Sí se puede, sí se puede. We are the children of organizers, farm workers, freedom fighters. We come from resistance, and we carry it forward with love, with rage, and with hope. So May Day is not just a rally, it's not just a march, it's a declaration. We are still here, we're still fighting, and we're still believing. Aquí estamos y no nos vamos is a chant that we cry in the streets. We're here and not leaving. So today we say, sí se puede, to fight for the workers with dignity. Sí se puede luchar por los trabajadores. Yes, we can protect our families. Sí se puede proteger a nuestras familias. Sí se puede construir un mundo mejor. We can build a better world. So all across these 50 states, let May Day 2025 be the day that we rise again, stronger, louder, and more united than ever. Let's march with courage, organize with purpose. Organize with purpose and carry this moment like our ancestors did, with heart, with joy, and with unwavering belief de que sí se puede. Gracias.
Wow. Good evening, everybody. What an inspiring set of speakers, right? That was just amazing. My name is Sakit Bhatti. I'm the Executive Director of Bargaining for the Common Good. I mean, we have our call to action, right? Like, our speakers really they brought the fire. So the question is, are we ready to respond? You're going to see some poll questions now popping up about your media plans. Please take a moment to register your response. While folks are doing that, we want to, we're really excited. We have, 2,400 people who joined this call. We want to take a chance to actually hear from you all, right? So we're going to try something that we haven't done before, so hopefully it works well. Can everyone please grab their phones? There's a QR code that's going to pop up on your screen. And if you can scan that, please. For the next 60 seconds, we want you to speak from the heart and answer the following prompt. I march on May Day because we all deserve blank. You can respond via text, audio, or video. Your 60 seconds start now, and the word cloud will auto-populate with your responses. That is beautiful. Thank you, everyone. And we're going to start to see more of the word bubble sort of populate as well. I'm going to turn it over to JJ Briscoe from Public Citizen to walk us through how to promote your events effectively.
Hello, everyone. So good to see everyone here on this call, especially all of those who are participants attending. So yeah, at Public Citizen, I'm the senior democracy organizer. So if you are already a host and you're on this mass call, me or one of my colleagues may have already reached out to you. And let's dive into it. We could go to the next slide. So we have here just some messaging that we really want to make sure everyone is able to really sing from. We want to have a choir across the country communicating these key messages. We know that May Day, as has already really been alluded to, is a rejection of the corruption, lawlessness, and oh, I see the poll, and predatory politics of the Trump-Musk administration. And so your speakers and visuals should all reflect this. And this is everything that I'm mentioning right now, you have it in the toolkit. I'm sure some links have been shared and in the chat, but we can also make sure that we get them to you. And so you can see some of these key points. Everyone deserves good jobs, reliable services, and a fair economy. But we are communicating Trump, Musk, and their billionaire buddies are destroying livelihoods, gutting public resources, and driving up costs just to pad their own pockets. And so there you can see really what we're trying to focus on. I love what I'm seeing in the chat. It seems like you guys are already practicing this messaging. And if you have speakers, if you are hosting an event, you can make sure to forward this to them to make sure that they are tailoring their remarks to this messaging. Next slide. We also wanted to flag, so within our toolkit, there's a social media toolkit template. So for those who are thinking about hosting, we have this already provided for you to really spread the word. We have sample posts for Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, or yeah, Twitter formerly, yeah, I guess it's X now, unfortunately. And anywho, you can see a sample post prior to May Day, just sharing. We have our key hashtags that we're using. May Day is a day of action. We're coming together, and there's brackets where you can put in your city. That's actually something that you'll want to make sure to do so people know where the event is located, if we have one in their city. And then we also have sample posts for the day of to also just continue recruiting, continue amplifying our message. And again, it is really key to use these hashtags to create a movement on the social media front. Next slide. And then for more traditional media hosts, and also me and the other organizers at Public Citizen, we're supporting hosts and making sure that you have a media list. And I can briefly go through some of these steps. But first of all, getting media attention is fundamental for this event. And so having a set communication strategy will ensure that press show up, they can cover your event. And so diving into these best practices, step one, a media list is exactly what it sounds like, a list of reporters and media, local media outlets in your area that you want to tell about your event. So to get started, you can list all the newspapers, radio, TV news stations that you already know of, and then you can also do a quick Google search or look on their websites for contact information. Usually you're looking for a newsroom, email, or a phone number that's often listed in the contact us or menu on their website. And then step two, definitely want to give our reporters a heads up about your event as early as you can. Before you send an advisory, that's an effective way to start building a relationship with them and to get more media out to your events. And a lot of this outreach, such as an email, it's short, it's simple with fewer details than the advisories that you end up sending out. And going to step 3, advisor event. So we have a template as well for these advisories located in the toolkit. And just like the social media templates, you just input your information, make sure you have the event, date, time, location, who the spokespeople are, and then you can go ahead and send that out. And then we already kind of talked about what prep can look like for your speakers with step 4. We encourage you to identify 1 to 3 people who will be ready to speak with reporters. Oh, sorry. And the best practice is to stay close to the overall message. As I said, keep it concise and have a few quotes ready to go. And then step 5, of course, run a great event. Once the event has started, focus on running the best event that you can. If reporters come, connect with them and connect them to one of your prep spokespeople. And then finally, step 6, the final step after the event, a press release is a communication, usually via email and no longer than 1 page, that just gives the reporter some of the basics they need to write a story, background about what's happening, quotes from relevant people, and then it should include the contact information they can use to find out more. So the best practice is to send these as soon as you can after the event. And like I said, everything that I just shared now, all of this strategy, it's located in the toolkit, so you have it all at your disposal. And then finally, with this next slide, we do have graphics, so you can go ahead, again, located in the toolkit, and you can make a copy of these Canva graphics by going to File, make a copy, and then add your own logos if you are an organization, the information of your local time, and then you can share it out. And it's a really great visual way to let people know about it. And it's always great when we have a uniform design.
Thanks, JJ. That was great. Yeah, as y'all pointed out in the chat, the QR code was not working, but y'all knew what to do. You jumped right in and started dropping the answers to your prompts in the chat. So that was great. It's that DIY energy that's really sort of driving this, right? And just with that in mind, we have with the poll, 94% of you said that you're planning on either attending or actually planning on leading May Day action. So that's really, really amazing to see. Just a couple of quick reminders before we close out. So again, you can sign on to become a partner organization at bit.ly/Mayday partner. We're going to drop these links in the chat. Toolkit and press kits for local and national media are available in both English and Spanish at bit.ly/Mayday toolkit. You can register your event to RSVP to existing ones at maydaystrong.org. There will be a security training on April 29th at 3 p.m. Eastern. You can register for that at bit.ly/MaydaySecure. And the ACLU is hosting a Know Your Rights training at 7 p.m. Eastern also on the 29th. And you can register for that at bit.ly/MaydayKYR, capital K, capital Y, capital R. I believe capitalization matters for bit.ly. So thanks, everyone. We're just a little over a week out from May Day, and I know I'm really pumped. As we know, May Day is not the end, but part of our collective escalation on this authoritarian administration. They need to see that we're not backing down and that the movement against them is only getting bigger. And of course, our actions will be peaceful and nonviolent. If there isn't an action plan in your community, please sign up to host one now on maydaystrong.org. When this call started, we had events lined up in 49 states. And we got Rhode Island. And so, proud to say we're up to 50 states. So this is really, really remarkable. After May 1st, we'll continue to do pop-ed trainings, organize in our communities and workplaces, and plan even more big days of action against these corporate overlords. The past 3 months have really been something else. We've been inundated with attacks from the billionaire oligarchs. They want to overwhelm us so we can't figure out whether to stop deportations, save Medicaid and critical services, or to end the assault on Gaza. We know that the only way forward is to come together in deep solidarity and fight for all of these things together, fight for our vision of a world in which all communities can prosper and thrive. That's the real spirit of May Day, and that's what we'll take to the streets for next week. So thanks, everyone, and see you se puede. Goodbye.